All right, so we need to talk about what was just done by President Trump and the White House about Q. It's very overt. The White House, the U.S. Department of the CTO, they're all talking and posting about the quantum technologies executive order and some of the updates, but they were going off of this whole QAnon, if you want to call it, movement, and they were making memes, they were talking about it, and they were giving lots of hints and clues, so people are going wild over it. So let's get into it and talk about it. All right, so if you haven't heard, this is what President Trump signed. I'll just let you hear it directly for yourself.
Quantum technologies represents the next generation of innovation across computing, sensing, and networking with enormous significance for our country's economic growth, scientific research, and cyber security. It's really a big deal that we're doing today, and the country is doing really well, as you know. In 2018, I signed the National Quantum Initiative Act into law, which led to doubling the federal government investment in quantum research and development. I think you all know about that. That helped unleash billions of dollars of private investment in America's quantum industrial base, promoting significant scientific and technological progress like we've never seen before, actually. We want to keep that positive momentum going in America with the orders that I'm signing today, and these will really have place it a big step forward. We're already the leader by a lot, and we're going to be now the leader by a lot more. The first executive order launches a national effort to produce a quantum computer capable of performing important scientific calculations and to develop quantum-enabled sensors and networks in the next 5 years, and we're going to be investing in American quantum leadership like never before to stay ahead of the pack. We're way ahead right now, and we'll keep it that way. The second order I'm signing directs federal agency to transition to what is called quantum cryptography. Do anybody know what that is? You're going to hear very soon, so you're going to find it interesting. Cryptography for their computer systems by 2031 and to lead the way for wider adoption of these extremely strong security standards. America is celebrating 250 years of ingenuity, innovation, and invention this year, and today's commitments to quantum leadership will help secure that legacy for decades to come.
And so obviously this is about quantum computing in sort of the overt, sort of optic sense. And as he said there, the U.S. is already leaps and bounds ahead. And so I believe that there's some secret technology already being where we are using supercomputing power that literally is hundreds of thousands of times faster than any fastest chip that we have right now. But it's very interesting that he talks about this because the White House in lieu or leading up to sort of the announcement posted this. And at first you're like, wait, what's going on here? But there's this kind of teasing where the White House, as it says here, will be Q posting today. And then you kind of scroll down all the way. And then by Q, we mean quantum. Stay tuned. So obviously taking a jab at the Q/QAnon stuff. And then later in the day, after he made the announcement and signed the executive order, the White House posted, this is the official Twitter post here and account that is being used for communication directly by the White House. Q is for quantum. It says, or this post says, under President Trump's leadership, quantum is making a massive leap, and America is at the forefront of these innovations and groundbreaking technologies. And then, of course, throughout the day, Department of War CTO and many others have been posting, are you enjoying the show? Refill your popcorn. You'll love this next part. Again, the show, this whole thing referring a lot to the Q post because Q talks a lot about watching the show, that this is a theater, this is a movie, you're watching it play out. So paying homage or giving sort of this nod to it, American quantum dominance, Q in parentheses here. The U.S. Department of Energy saying quantum mode activated, quantum aura. But one of the most eye-opening, crazy posts that the White House said was always trust with these eye emojis, but showing this image here of clearly a Q post. Now, this is manipulated to say 47, President 47. This is not the actual Q post 47. But here, again, showing and making this a big deal. America will be the world's leader in quantum technologies, making America great again. So it's very obvious that the White House is talking about the Q post, about QAnon and all that stuff. Now, what's interesting is that that particular post was posted at 2:25 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, that is in correspondence to 14:25, 14 meaning on the 24-hour clock 25. And Q often does this when posters, whether it's Dan Scavino or many others, are referring to certain posts overtly to give that delta or that Q drop, that association. Here it says, given we have now undeniably on purpose verified ourselves to be an inside source, expect the mainstream media clown army to attack in full cooperation with foreign and domestic assets. Be prepared. Trust the plan. Conspiracy no more. We are in full control. Pain. Q. Now, literally, he is saying that in connection to this post, that there's an inside source. And if you've been following the Q post ever since 2017 and onwards, or even a little after that, you know that there's verifiable proof. I even talked about this yesterday about Tippy Top, many others. There are tons and tons of proofs and posts, verifications that seemed very subtle. It's very overt, but unless you're looking for it and you're above, or you kind of get beyond the idea that this is all a coincidence and conspiracy and all that stuff, and say, okay, by my calculation of what is probable, there's too much of this. And especially as more time passes, more news, more things that Q has mentioned is coming to pass. It's being projected. It's being done as is being told and as was said. So this is one of those where it's giving a nod to it, saying, trust the plan, conspiracy no more. And then remember, a couple of days ago, June 20, this is from 2018, the actual to-date delta was saying in post 1578, look for more direct confirmations. It's time. And I did a video about this where a lot of people were saying it's time. Now remember, even President Trump talks about this all the time. This is back from 2025, making memes about Q, saying all these different things that are exact verbiage words, verbatim, that was said from the Q post. Nothing can stop what is coming. The world will soon understand. So why is it that Trump, many others, are talking about Q, posting, memeing, all this stuff, and yet the media won't ask about it, won't talk about it, but yet in the last 8 years, in the first term especially, it was deemed as a ultra crazy right conspiracy theory that if you are into that stuff, you are crazy and you need to set yourself back into reality, and all these different things. They made fun of it, they demoralized it, they degraded it, they attacked it like no other, and that is what was happening. And then now, as Trump and many others are overtly talking about it, not many people want to give attention to it. This is the Streisand effect. Don't look here, but yet people are looking here and asking questions. I remember years ago, I think this was in his first term, the media overtly asked about this. And remember, this is what President Trump said. This is giving vindication to the Q and the Anons.
At the crux of the theory is this belief that you are secretly saving the world from this satanic cult of pedophiles and cannibals. Does that sound like something you are behind?
Well, I haven't heard that, but is that supposed to be a bad thing or a good thing? I mean, if I can help save the world from problems, I'm willing to do it. I'm willing to put myself out there. And we are, actually. We're saving the world from a radical left philosophy that will destroy this country. And when this country is gone, the rest of the world would follow.
So as he says in this video, it's not a bad thing. He doesn't overtly brush it off, but at the same time, more and more as time passes, he's giving a nod. He's giving more direct communication, acknowledgement to the movement, to the talks, to the posts. And let's see, as more direct communications are coming out, what's going to happen. But I believe that even with the quantum technologies, there's something there. And I've said before, and I remember one time I heard somebody on a podcast who was a general, whether it was General Michael Flynn or somebody else, saying overtly that over 1,000 people are working in Virginia at the Pentagon or somewhere near the White House, where they are coordinating and looking at the comms and looking at all of what's happening, whether it's the movie, the coordination of it, down to the drops from the White House, President Trump, many others, Dan Scavino, all these people, they're doing it with intention, with purpose, because everything that's happening, it requires 24/7 monitoring, surveillance, when to post, when to give the drops, when to do certain things, and especially with the Q post, the level of sophistication that was done, especially in the early years, to drop these posts. There was all of that going on behind the scenes. So I believe there's something happening. It's a big military operation. It's more than just some psyop. It's more than just, it's fun and cool and nice, but really there's something coordinated, especially as more time passes and we're seeing what Q and many others have mentioned as being true and what's actually happening in the news and what Trump and the White House are doing. So let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. I'll talk to you guys very soon.